What if I told you Doritos made a horror game so terrifying it had to be taken down? From saving pictures of their players without their knowledge, to contacting them on their actual cell phones, this game invaded players' personal lives to the point where the FTC had to step in and shut them down. This is the story of Hotel 626. If you were online in the late 2000s, you might remember gaming channels just raking in millions and millions of views playing horror games like Slender and Amnesia. These videos were huge, and looking back, a lot of the reactions were a little bit over the top. But I used to eat this stuff up, man. I mean, this was peak cinema back in the day. But little did I know, strolling alongside these heavy hitters was a game that you probably have never heard of, and that's Hotel 626. It was a browser horror game released in 2008, only playable between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., hence 626. It was frequently described by those who played it as one of the scariest games of all time. That is, until it suddenly vanished, leaving fans to speculate on what happened to it and why. Could it have been removed for being too disturbing? Or could it have something to do with the FTC complaint filed in 2011 that cited the scare tactics as being too invasive? We'll get into all of that a little bit later, and it gets pretty crazy, but first, let's walk through the game and explore what makes it so scary. So heading to hotel626.com would give you one of two screens depending on the time of day. If you were outside of the 6 to 6 time range, you'd get a screen telling you the hotel was currently closed. This forced players to have to play at nighttime for maximum spookage. If you do visit during the time range, you're given a form asking you for some information, like your name, your email, a password, date of birth, and most importantly, to enable your webcam and your microphone. That'll be important later on. After that, you're given a quick welcome message thanking you for staying and wishing you a good night's sleep. Now, as the game starts, you'll see down in the left corner, there's 10 tally marks, each one representing a challenge. Once each challenge is completed, you'll see that tally mark will light up. The first loading screen flashes a message.
Only by confronting your darkest fears can you find the light,
before transporting you into your hotel room. Now, the first thing you might notice is that the graphics actually look pretty good for being a 2008 browser game. Most of it is just straight up motion video. Some of it has a little bit of 3D animation blended in, and I think it just gives it a really cool vibe, like you're controlling an actual horror movie. I think it's pretty neat. But looking around your hotel room, you start hearing screaming outside, so you hurriedly get dressed and you hop out into the hallway. The next loading screen reads,
"One is not like the other."
And this is something you'll notice as we progress through each loading screen. It gives a subtle hint towards how to solve that section. Once we're out in the hallway, the lights start suddenly exploding, so we book it down the hallway until we notice one of the doors is missing their number plaque. So we quickly duck into that room to escape the shadowy void, and we make it to the next level.
She lives in darkness. Show her the light.
The door leads you into a dark room. So you pull out your camera and you start using your flash to try and get an idea of your surroundings. You quickly realize you're not alone. And once you set the flash off directly into the creature's face, they jump scare you and you progress on to the next level.
Just in time.
When you return to the hallway, you'll notice that shadowy barrier is gone now, and you have access to the door at the end of the hall. This leads to a stairwell, and on your way down, the void returns, so you have to escape through one of the side doors. I know this sounds like your average horror game experience, but I promise it's gonna get way crazier starting with this next level.
Sing me a lullaby.
You find yourself in a moldy, broken down, nasty looking room with a cute little kiddo sleeping in the middle of it. As the loading screen suggested, the player has to actually sing a lullaby into their microphone. If you don't, the child's gonna wake up and start munching on you. I just thought it was kind of crazy that this is probably one of the first games to use a mechanic like that. And now we have a bunch of games that use it, like Phasmophobia, Mage Arena,
Vine Light,
GTA strip clubs. After you belt out your best tune, you creep your way out of the room, only to be bonked on the back of the head and dragged away.
He knows the way.
You wake up in a padded room with a man in a straitjacket. You can hear him mumbling a sequence of 3 words. each one corresponding to a picture drawn on the wall and a number associated with it. Now, the crazy thing here is that it's randomized. So you weren't able to just search up the code and skip this level. You had to actually figure it out because it was unique for everybody, which I thought that was kind of cool. Once you enter the right code, the door opens up and you escape out into the hall again and you try a different door.
Find yourself a way out.
This is where it really starts getting cool. So you find yourself in a dark room with someone pounding and screaming at the door.
Hey, get out of there. Those are mine.
You flick your flashlight on. And you see a room filled with Polaroid pictures. Each one of these pictures is another real player that has played this game. So while you're playing the game, the webcam snaps a picture of you without you knowing, and it puts you in this room hidden among all these other real players. Like, imagine playing this for the first time, right? It's all dark and spooky in your room, and you're already on edge from the previous levels. And then you walk into this room and see pictures of yourself hanging up there. Dude, I would be shitting bricks, man. You have to go and search through all of these Polaroids to find the picture of yourself. And when you click on it, it transports you back to the hallway, this time in front of a phone.
Answer and you'll have the answers.
Now, if you thought that was crazy, this is freaking nuts, man. So imagine yourself back in that scenario, right? You're by yourself, it's the middle of the night, and you get a phone call. And once you answer that phone call, you hear this.
Oh, they're calling speaker. How? Speaker middle.
If you want to get out of here alive, do exactly as I say. There isn't that much time. Quick, head down the hallway.
That's right, the game actually calls your real cell phone with instructions on how to get out of the hotel. How freaking cool is that? After the voice leads you to your car, it looks like you're gonna get away until you look in the rearview mirror, and one of the creatures from the game, it's randomized which one you get, jump scares you, and the game ends. Sorta. So a couple days go by, you know, you're living life, you're going to work, going to school, you forget all about the game that you played. Until one night, in the middle of the night, your phone starts ringing. In a groggy haze, you pick it up and you hear, "You made it out, but we'll see you again in the darkness." Dude, I would be freaking out. I would have the ghost hunters on the phone so fast. They really did do such a good job blending the game with real life. Like, I just eat that shit up, dude. Not to sound like a broken record, but it really is so cool. Now, after playing the game, you wouldn't be alone in forgetting that this was a promotion for Doritos, which was really odd because they didn't show the product at all. There were a couple of nods towards it, like in the bottom right corner of the screen, you'd see that classic Doritos squiggle or sound wave scribble. I don't know what it is, the Doritos thing. The hotel plaques are Dorito shaped and the lights as well, and the Dorito shaped stairwell. But even with these, what the hell does this have to do with Doritos? There's a fake documentary posted by Snack Strong Presents, which was the ad agency that ran this campaign. In this video, we see the reason for creating the game was to market 2 flavors being brought back from the dead. One of those was a taco flavor, I believe, which actually sounds extremely good. This was around Halloween, so they wanted to create a scary experience, really lean into and tap into that vibe. This is all explained further and in greater detail in the formal complaint from the FTC. So I pulled the file and I read through the entire thing, and it's actually pretty interesting stuff. So in October of 2011, the Federal Trade Commission submitted a complaint and request for investigation against Frito-Lay for deceptive practices in marketing Doritos to adolescents, saying Hotel 626 capitalized on teenagers' neurobiological vulnerability to thrills and intense sensations. Basically saying you can't market towards teenagers this way, they're more vulnerable to scary stuff like this, and especially in ad campaigns where it's not made clear that you're promoting a product, or at least the best my room temperature IQ can make of it. In the complaint, they talked to Jeff Goodby, who was in charge of the campaign, and he explained that Doritos asked them to create an online experience targeted towards teens that was just as intense as Doritos flavor. We knew teenagers loved getting scared, so we decided to create a website with one goal: to scare the crap out of them. He claimed that the campaign was the most visited digital content property of 2008. He was probably right. The relaunched flavors sold out within just 3 weeks, selling over 2 million bags in that time. So if it was so successful, why doesn't it exist anymore? I mean, you would think if you had a game that was driving a ton of traffic towards your brand, you would just leave it up. But if you go to the website now, you can see it's not there. Even using the Wayback Machine, you can't access it. So my first thought was maybe they didn't want to pay for the domain anymore. So I checked the Whois database to get some information on the domain, and I found out that it's still registered to Frito-Lay. It was set to expire in 2018, and they renewed it until 2024. And then they renewed it again, and now they have control over it until the end of 2026. Meaning the domain's still registered to them, and they're still paying for it, so it's not that. Personally, I think it has to do with the updates to the FTC guidelines in the early 2010s. It called for greater transparency in ad campaigns and privacy by design to protect the customer's personal information. So they probably figured it would just be easier to take it down because, one, they don't make it super clear it's an ad for Doritos, right? And two, they're taking pictures and storing phone numbers from the people playing the game. So it's probably easier just to take it down and just forget about it. But I don't know. They haven't said anything officially about what happened. It's just a real shame because there are a lot of people, myself included, that would have loved to experience this game. Attempts have been made to get a working version of the game, all of which have failed. Even contacting the ad agency directly to see if they'll share the game files. They just tell you they have no idea what the promotion is, so it really seems like this game is lost to time. Meaning the only way you'll ever be able to experience this game is through playthroughs online or lowly YouTubers like myself. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments if any of you guys got to play Hotel 626 when it was out. I'm super interested to hear your experience. Also, what's the best Dorito flavor? Objectively, I think it's spicy nacho. I'll give a pass for anybody saying the purple bag. I think it's like sweet chili or something. Those are pretty good too. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.